Is Triple Strategist still ruining Marvel Rivals? In my opinion, yeah, I think it's ruining Marvel Rivals, and even more so today. First, we're going to talk about why it's ruining Marvel Rivals, at least in my opinion, and then we're going to talk about solutions that can possibly fix the direction that it's going. And of course, I want you guys to sound off in the comments what you feel, what you think, because I don't think that I know everything, and I don't think that anyone knows everything. This is why I like to have a discussion. It's us talking. It's not me making a video, just making a video. We're having a conversation as a community. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, of course, when I make videos like this, especially hot topics, I feel like I have to do this. So I apologize. I don't really like doing it, but I've climbed both on PC and console. I've climbed all 3 roles separately, and I'm also an Eternity/1 above all player. Again, some people just feel like you can't have an opinion unless you're certain ranks or have certain credentials, and I really hate that. I don't care if you're bronze and you barely play. You can have an opinion. But anyway, we got that out the way. Let's roll. Kicking it off with number 1, inflation. Now, I want to say that both PC and consoles have Smurfs, but honestly, when I played on PC, the amount of Smurfs that are on that platform is crazy. There's so many Smurfs on PC. Why this is a problem is because players then play with those Smurfs. They have their friends or their buddies, their family members, whatever, play with them, and the person is just going to run Triple Strategist while the Smurf does all the work. The issue with this is that there's a lot of characters in this game that pumps out damage. We're talking about Moon Knight, Bucky, Hawkeye, Hela. A lot of these characters can solo carry because they do so much damage. So you're able to run a 2-1-3, 2 tanks, 1 DPS, and 3 strategists. You're able to run that for free, especially if the person playing DPS is a Smurf. I mean, you just running through games. This leads to inflation. By the time you hit a rank that you do not deserve, you have no clue how to play there, especially if it's a double strategist game. A lot of the times, you guys might have seen it, doesn't matter what rank you are, you'll look at somebody and you'll be like, how did you get here, bro? Like, what are you doing? A lot of the times it's because they use triple strategists. If you check their account, it's there. So this is one of the main things that I dislike about triple strategists is it causes inflation. And that inflation leads to horrible matches in the game where you have people in your games that have no clue how to play and you're like, bro, you suck. And it's like, well, they never learned. All they did was play triple strategists and that's that. Kicking it off at number 2, it's unfun. And honestly, I probably should have started this off with number 1. It's just generally unfun. It's unfun to go against it. It's unfun to have to play it. It's unfun. Even when I do it on stream, you guys see me. I stream, I go triple support, I go Ultron, Mantis, whatever. And I'm like, bro, this sucks. I want to play the character that I want to play. I don't want to have to play strategist because there's way too much damage in the game and we need 3 of them. Or they have triple strategists, so we have to match them. Otherwise, we're going to get KO'd. Or because of inflation, we have a strategist on our team that has no clue what they're doing. So I have to play strategist number 3 to compensate for that player not being good enough. It's not fun, man. And I really don't like it. And I have yet to meet a person who's like, you know what, Poppin'? I genuinely enjoy triple strategists. I have 2 strategists that are my friends and we play together and it's the most fun. I feel like it's the best comp ever. Like I've never. It's horribly unfun. Maybe let me know in the comments below. Do you really find triple strategist fun, or are you kind of teetering to it's unfun? I want to play what I want to play, and I also don't want to deal with ultimates going off for 3 hours. I mean, like I want to finish the game before the episode of SpongeBob is over. That's all I'm trying to say. Moving on to number 3 on why I feel like this is unhealthy for the game and why I feel like it's ruining it is the fact that the only real way to beat it is by having coordination with your team or by having a character so strong they can one-shot the supports. I mean, I guess you can match it if you want. If you want to go triple heals versus triple heals, I mean, you can, but realistically, there's no other way to beat it. When I say you need coordination, it's not the fact that you will have to have your team on board to pick a specific comp, like 3 tanks, but you're gonna have to have them have target priority. That's the main thing that really beats triple supports. Everybody, or almost everyone, has to focus the same target to get it out, move on to the next, and the next. If you're someone like me who doesn't use comms, or maybe you do use comms, but there's people in your games that don't, you can see there's probably a disconnect with the coordination. No? So I really dislike how easy it is to play triple strategist, but how hard it is to beat it without proper coordination. And then of course the other route is just playing a damage heavy character like Bucky, Hawkeye, you know, just one-shot type characters. Once again, I like to play what I like to play. I hate having to be forced to play these types of characters. Of course I can. As I said, I climbed all 3 roles, so I can. But you know, sometimes my DPS teammates don't play that. Maybe they just like to play Human Torch, right? And Human Torch is more of a poke character with a slow, sustained damage. He can burst sometimes, but maybe that's what he wants to play. And he doesn't play anything else. So we just lose? We just lose because nobody on our team likes to play heavy DPS damage heroes. Is that, like, come on. Come on. Number 4 on why I think it's ruining the game is the fact that a lot of players at this point just use it as a crutch. When it first started coming out, it was a good strategy. It was because there was a lot of damage and, you know, there's reasons behind it and you picked it for a specific reason. Nowadays, people are just walking out of base with 3 strategists, or whenever it gets tough or difficult, your tank or your DPS goes to strategist, and then you just have 3 strategists. Like, if you have that as a crutch, whether you're a strategist player or, again, DPS or tank, whatever, if that's something that you rely on to climb, you're missing out on all the important knowledge that you could be gaining as you climb. This then circles right back to inflation. When you're in a rank that needs you to perform at that level and you can't because you skipped all the lessons by playing inflation stuff, you're just going to be left out. And again, this is why we have people in our games that don't understand simple things like how to use strategist ult properly, or how to use their cooldowns properly, or things like that, because players literally are skipping the fundamentals because they're crutching on 3 strats. Brief example, if a DPS does horribly, they're 0 on 3, 0 on 4, you're like, I'm gonna just play strat. And then they win. If they carry a 60% win rate by crutching onto triple strats, they're gonna end up in a rank where they can't perform as DPS at all. And so either they're tanking your game because they're attempting to play DPS and they lose, or what they will do is they'll force triple strat every single game, and maybe you don't need it that game and you lose because they're so self-conscious about, well, I don't know if I can play well. I never play well in my games anymore as as DPS. I'm afraid to, you know? And their self-esteem is lower and they just don't even want to try to play DPS anymore. Even if you ask them, even if they play Lords, they don't want to do it. Again, this is one of the issues. Tank is the same example. How many times have you had players that are on your team and they don't know how to take space? They don't know how to survive without you. If they have a Thor, or you have a Thor or a Thing or something like that, and they go super deep expecting heals. DPS, Iron Fist, Magic, super deep expecting heals because they're used to being pocketed by 3 strats. However, there's only 2, and now they're getting mad at the strategist because you're not healing us. You're not healing us. GG, no heals. It's like, bro, not my fault. You're used to players crutching on 3 healers and you're used to that type of babysitting. You only have 2 this time. You need to be more careful. Again, this just stems to not just strategist inflation or things like that, but it makes everybody play worse because they're so used to being babysat by additional healing. Now, we talked a lot about why it's a problem, and of course, anybody and their mama can say why things are a problem, but let's now talk about solutions. How can we get the game back on track if that is something NetEase really cares about in the first place? The first solution that I think could help is just adding a new mode forcing 222. I know a lot of people are like, well, forcing 222 will kill the game, and having the ability to swap from 222 allows creativity, and you shut up. Ain't none of y'all like 3, 2, whatever, or triple strat. Shut up, y'all don't just exit my video right now if that's how you feel. Seriously though, when are the odds that you're playing in a match and you want to do something creative as a solo queue player, or maybe you're playing with your friend, or maybe 2? This is some stack behavior. I have never seen someone willingly go into the match, have a conversation with the people in the match, and is like, you know what, guys, let's try a crazy comp. Let's do this, let's do that. You're only doing the comp because literally you're trying to counter what they threw at you. That's all. That's it. That's not creativity. So if we can balance the game around 222, I'm pretty sure everybody would be a little bit more happy about it. Again, I know y'all still think that it's gonna kill Overwatch and all that extra nonsense. I know, but shut up, because I don't like y'all anyway. Anyway. I'm so toxic sometimes. But anyway, adding a new mode. Not only does this force 222 for people who really want to have a serious ranked grind, this allows everyone to have basic fundamentals to climb. You're not crutching on 3 anything, you know, and it's having a more house-built foundation to say, you're bronze, you learn this, you're silver, you learn this, you're gold, you learn this. Whereas right now you can do pretty much whatever, and you can skip steps to learning, and then of course you're at a rank where you don't understand anything because you didn't have to worry about it to climb in the first place. I think this also makes it so that they can have a rank reset without really resetting all of us back to 0. if we have a new mode for serious players and we all start at the bottom, I think that's a great way to make it so that it answers a lot of players' requests of resetting the ladder without ruining the progress of everybody else. I think that'd be a great mutual agreement. I know some of the issues is like, well, they'll split the player base or maybe the queues will be long. Honestly, I don't care. Okay, I want real competitive games. I'm tired of having to deal with triple strategists and players on my team that have no clue how to play, whether it's tank, DPS, or strat, because they climb doing some nonsense and now they're in my game. I mean, again, I know you guys have had the same thing. Y'all know. The second thing that we can do is just reduce the damage and healing. Again, one of the reasons why we even had triple strategists start to surface was because it alleviates some of the stress of dealing with some of these high damage heroes. If you have 3 healers, they don't have to worry about having someone getting picked off so quickly. So again, Black Panther, Spider, Magic, and I know some of these characters like Spider doesn't do a lot of damage, but the problem is the dude is persistent, which means that you need more heals to help fix that if your strategists don't understand how to play against a Spider. Now, just because you reduce the healing and the damage doesn't mean the game's going to be fixed. Honestly, I feel like they need to take an entire season and just work on how to fine-tune the game in that regard. So we're reducing HP on characters, reducing damage and healing so that it all works cohesively after, you know what I mean? That way we're not having tanks survive for ages because damage is reduced, or they can't get heals because, you know, the healing is reduced. But doing something with the stats overall to make it so that we don't need to worry about having triple strategists or triple anything would be okay. And then people who want to run triple strategists, I mean, I guess they can, but it's not so crazy. The third thing that could help is having a 2+ role penalty. So what I mean by that is if you have 3 strategists, you're having healing reduction. So you're not going below the threshold of how much healing 2 strategists can have, but by having 3, it doesn't mean you have 3. It means you have like 2.5 or 2 1/4 healer or something like that. Basically penalizing it so that way you're not having to worry about additional crazy amounts of healing. If you have Invisible Woman, Cloak and Dagger, and like Loki or something like that, you don't have to worry about all that nonsense, especially when it comes to them ulting back to back to back. And I think that would help a lot. It would also work for DPS, having 3 DPS. They do a lot of damage as 3 DPS. Well, 3 DPS penalty, 3 tanks, HP penalty. It doesn't suffer. It doesn't like make it so that one player is less. What it does, it's just gonna round up everybody in the game. So if there's 3 tanks, let's just say the average tank health pool is like 650, right? So instead of having all tanks have 650, you would reduce their health a little bit altogether so to compensate for the fact that you have 3. The same thing for DPS. You're not going to reduce just one player. You kind of round it out so it's still the same amount of damage, maybe a little bit more than 2, but it's not crazy where it's an extra 3rd DPS. And the same thing for healers. You're not going to just have one player reduced healing. You would have overall number value, so that way the healing is still a bit more than 222, which allows 3 strategists if necessary, but it's not a crutch that you use because the overall value of all the healing is lowered, which then means that you're still having a lot of heals, more than 2, but it's not so much that it breaks the game and everybody just hates it because of it. And the 4th solution that can help is just make strat ults more linear. If you have strat ults, and I mean all of them last about 5 seconds, that makes it so that the ults don't last for 3 years, and it also makes it so that the strategists think twice before using it. I think how it works right now is they last so long that the punishment for using it isn't really that high unless you have a Hawkeye or an Iron Man or, you know, someone to one-bang the person out of their ultimate. However, if we shorten the duration of everybody's ultimates, it means that each strategist should be able to counter them, so we're not in a situation where someone plays Jeff or Adam Warlock and they have 3 strategists and it's like, bro, we need another one of you. We need 3 strategists on our team, or we need you to swap, and they don't, and we just lose because we don't have AoE ultimates. We would shorten them all so that way that type of thing doesn't matter as much anymore. And it also makes it so that, again, the strategist has to think twice before just popping it off for free. It gives everybody a little bit more wiggle room, and it doesn't make it seem like it's so long for us to be able to fight again, because if it's one strat ult and then another one and then another one, it's rough. I think what Cloak and Daggers is like 11 to 14 seconds. If you have Loki take that, another 11 to 14 seconds. And then if you have Luna Snow on the team, that's like 11, 12 seconds. I forgot the numbers. But that's a lot of time to sit there and do nothing. That's 30 seconds of ults. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But this is what people are leaning on to climb. So again, something like that would make it so that they have to play better. And even if they have 3, it's not too damaging to the rest of the people playing the match. At the end of the day, I always say I'm not a developer. I don't balance games. All this stuff could be atrocious, but that's not my job, that's theirs. I'm making this video just to help voice my concern because I'm really tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing the inflation. I'm tired of dealing with triple strategists. I'm tired of having 3 strats on my team and not one of them wants to play tank or DPS, so we're screwed. Like, I'm tired of it all. I'm tired of it all. So I was hoping to make this video to not only shed some more light on the issues that I feel that I have, maybe the issues that you have as well, and maybe some solutions. Do you guys have better solutions in the comments below? Let me know. Or maybe you're like, Poppin', we don't need solutions, bro. I like it how it is. Let me know that too. But be respectful, because you know I'll hide you real quick if you talk about any of the people in my comments. No, because I don't play. We are respectful around here. But until next time, you know what I always say. Think guys doing what? Poppin' often. Will often.